I'm Dave. This is the Cyderbaby pod. I'm talking to Tag from The Treatment. Hello.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you're listening from. Thank you for joining us, and yeah, let's get down to business.
Yeah. Well, I thought I'd give you a bell just to find out how you guys are doing to start with.
Honestly, incredible at the moment. Like, we're ecstatic. It's been quite a crazy few years, and now we're finally out on the road touring, waiting for good luck that we've really been waiting for the last 2 years, ever since the album came out. We recorded it at Rockfield, which was honestly a legendary moment, I think, for the band and for everyone involved. It was just such a highlight of my whole career, to be honest. I still feel lucky to be able to walk in that room, and now to go and tour these songs finally and have the fans listen to them. It's an amazing moment. It was going to be great. Ever since we kind of released the tour, we released it right after we toured with Swansea, just before Christmas. It was kind of quite a scary moment because we released it all and then it looked like we were going to go into another lockdown.
Yeah,
I remember on the Swansea tour we played in Dublin, and the country actually went into full-on lockdown at midnight, and we got on the ferry at 11:59 to get out of there because we had a show in Manchester the next day.
Okay, so tell me about the tour. What's happening? When is it starting? And where are you going?
So we actually start on a quite a cool day for me. It's actually my 30th birthday on the 15th. I know I look about 500 years old, but believe it or not, I am only 30.
So when you get to my age, mate, don't.
Don't worry. No, so we start in London at a venue called the Lafayette. I think it's quite a new venue actually. It's one we've never played and never been to before. It's owned by the Mumford & Sons gang, and yeah, that's on the 15th of April, so that kicks off the whole show.
Right.
I have no idea how I'm going to be feeling the next day in Dover, because definitely, rough is going to be the right word, but it's honestly, it's going to be a magical night. I think for me it's so cool being able to combine like such a personal moment for me and the band as well, and just having everyone there. It's going to be a real party. I'm really looking forward to it.
It's quite a big venue, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's one of the biggest. Well, in fact, it's the biggest venue we've done in London. So it's 800 cap,
right,
in the Lafayette. So, and it's if you see it, if you Google it, it's quite a magical venue. Like it's got this massive stage. It almost looks quite theatrical with these huge kind of lights that go outside it, and like really big old wooden room. So it's a real cool vibe to it. You walk in and when you just kind of see a venue that's like pretty magical. And but yeah, I'm super excited for that one. It's going to be a great start. To be honest, I'm excited for every date on the tour. We've got such a loyal fan base and great, amazing friends and fans who've been there the whole ride with us, and every kind of show I could pinpoint such magical people who are going to be there. And another few that I'm really looking forward to is the Waterloo, obviously, in Blackpool. That's a proper rock and roll, like a real rock and roll venue, and it's just Ian who works there. He always looks after us, and we have a real great kind of. They just got a great rock community up there. We've also got a hometown show for us at Junction 2 in Cambridge, so that'll be really great. We've got Station 18 Festival in Swansea, so that's going to be a nice little trip down at the end. It's cool to be part of like kind of these big festivals when you go in and out as well. And then it's quite strange. Swansea's always had a really strong, like, in fact, most of Wales actually, like the Treatment have such a strong following there. Like we've connected with great fans there, which has been amazing. And I remember the first time we did played Wales, we did is it Club Iferback? I don't know if you've been there.
No, I haven't. No, I'm sure I've heard of it. Yeah.
It was a tiny little venue, and this one didn't even have a stage. We just set up, and it was complete chaos from the moment we went on. I remember there were people just giving each other like shoulder rides, like the moshing. It was amazing because there was no stage. We had the fans on the stage most of the set. Brilliant. So it was a really interactive show. And then ever since then, every time we go to Wales, it's just been amazing for us.
Yeah.
So really looking forward to that one. Actually, to be honest, most of the places on this tour are like, we've got real great hardcore following. I know we're doing we're ending in Bilston at the Robin.
Yeah, I know.
And we've been and that's going to be absolutely brilliant. We did there with Buck Cherry right before COVID. It was one of the last shows we did, and so it's kind of like a little bit of a hometown coming again. But that was an absolutely brilliant show. We've just been waiting to go back. It's been rescheduled about 2 times, so
Yeah.
third time lucky, and we'll be there.
Right.
Yeah. And then there's honestly there's loads along the way. We've got the old fire station in Bournemouth. I think that's where South of Salem, who they're on support for us. It's actually their hometown as well.
Yeah.
And did that on the Fozzy tour, and that was really cool. It's like an old converted fire station. It's absolutely nuts. I mean, as the title says.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking through the dates now. Tivoli as well. It's gonna be brilliant. Sugar Mill, Fleece in Bristol. That's Queen's Hall, Nuneaton. It's quite cool because there's a few venues that are really off the beaten track for us. It's going to be fun. G2 in Glasgow. That's going to be brilliant. I always love going to Scotland. Again, we've got such like phenomenally cool fans there, and just it's I love just all the delicacies when you go there as well. The fried Mars bar, the back and pizza.
Yeah, delicacies is not the word I'd use.
I don't know. I think it really depends how you take it. For me, it's something that I actually look forward to every time we go on tour, is being able to buy that. It's just something you can't get down here.
Okay. You're doing Call of the Wild Festival as well, aren't you?
Yes, we are doing Call of the Wild. That comes about a month after the tour. So Call of the Wild, we last played was the last time they did it, which I think we spoke was about 2 or 3 years ago. And that's going to be a real great one. We're going back to headline the main stage on the Thursday.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a really big one. I feel like a lot of people have been waiting a long time for this festival to kind of finally get its dates back together. So super excited for that one. And again, just great independent festival organized by amazing people and people who just love music.
Yeah.
I feel like there's been a massive shift, and people really want to get out there, and they want to help music and help artists and make things work. And it's real. There's such a buzz going around, I think, in the music industry, of everyone knowing that it's such a great art that has been so missed during lockdown. And I think people are so excited to be getting back out to shows. So really looking forward to it.
Absolutely. I think this summer's going to be the crest of a wave, shall we say. I think after that it's just going to keep on rolling and rolling and rolling. I mean,
yeah, I think so. We've had a few, it's been it's been a scary time for people, and people have been unsure of what's going on, and I feel like we're starting to remember what real life was again, and you can't experience anything like a live music show.
Absolutely.
When you go to a gig, it's just the greatest feeling ever. Like for me, even when I was, a young kid at like 12, 13, when I first started going to gigs, I've never lost that excitement. And it's just been like, I felt like an animal in a cage throughout the whole of lockdown, of just not being able to do anything. And the last tour, we just before Christmas, we were on the Fozzy tour. And that was just a magic moment for us. I think the band, we'd really worked really hard and rehearsed up a lot, and it was just fantastic to really feel the band like cooking, firing, and like we were just locked in together like this tight unit. It was brilliant. So I'm really excited for April now.
Brilliant.
So Waiting for Good Luck kind of it came around in a bit of a strange way. It was so right at the beginning of the first slightly before the lockdown actually. Rick, our old bass player, he just kind of got to a point where he wanted to do something else in life. And so, with all our total blessings, that he's a great lad and still a good friend. But he decided to leave the band, and we started auditioning people, but then it was right in the beginning of the lockdown. So we actually couldn't really see anyone.
Okay.
And Laurie Mansworth, our producer, and manager, mentor, best friend, he started having some of the song ideas ready, and we were just rehearsing them, and we wanted to get it recorded. So we actually played with me and him on guitar, and Teo, my brother, went on bass.
Right.
And we didn't really have a bassist during the records, and Rockfield happened. It's somewhere that he'd had his eyes on for a long time. Like, I think he'd always wanted to get the band into Rockfield, and the dates just kind of worked out. Obviously, there weren't a lot of bands going in at that particular time, so he managed to snatch 4 days for us. And that was all we had. That was all I had.
4 days.
4 days. Yeah, and I think Laurie had always wanted to record the band live. It's something we'd never done before, and he really wanted to capture that kind of live energy and magic of a band really playing live and not overdubbing anything, and just having that energy of what you capture in a room. And so we decided, well, look, we've got 4 days that we're going to have to do it. We did 15 tracks all together, and it was about 2.5 days. And there really, it was no editing, not because we wanted to, it was just simply there wasn't time. So it was really, we had what we had on the record, and that was where Waiting for Good Luck kind of came into its part. It then got mixed by Kevin Shirley after that.
Yeah.
And that came out, God, my dates are so terrible, but it must have been probably about 1.5 years ago, I think.
It's
And
got to be something like that, yeah.
yeah, it was something like that, and it came out, and it was definitely a step up for the treatment. I think is not that you're never proud of any record you do, but that really was a magic moment, kind of listening to that back. And yeah, and then we were ready to hit the road, and then unfortunately, the world had other plans for us, and we put a small tour together for Waiting for Good Luck, and it kind of never really happened. And now finally these dates have all been rescheduled with a load more added to it.
Yeah.
And we now have the Devil in the Detail tour.
Brilliant.
But that was how Waiting for Good Luck came about. And it was something that I think, had Lowell not kind of just gone, right, we need to do a record now, I would have all gone like nuts during lockdown. It was just something that really kept us sane.
Yeah.
And we were very, very lucky in a sense. We had a friend who owned a nightclub, and we actually set up the entire band inside there. Obviously no one was going out, and so we got to rehearse for just days and days on end, which was kind of lucky, because otherwise would have never been able to get the live sound together. Especially during lockdown, because there's lots of bands who are kind of doing the FaceTime jams or the Zoom jams, and it's just not quite the same thing. So to be able to all go and do that, because we all lived together, which was great. So we were in our own bubble, and that was all we did. There was nothing else you could do. You can't go down to shops, can't go down the pub. I mean, what are you going to do? So go and play music.
Okay. So if you were to pick one defining song from the album, which one would you pick?
I mean, the single that first came out was Rat Race, and that was definitely, I think, the strongest song from the album. And it has so many magnificent parts to it. It's a huge Metallica style riff with the AC/DC drums and the bass rolling, Tom's really gritty vocals. It's a fantastic track. For me, that would be the standout track on the record. But my personal favorite is Vampirus.
Right.
I think it was a song that just kind of, it came out of nowhere, and Lowell had the riff idea, played it, and it must have formed within 30 minutes. I reckon we had the whole song. And when something just comes out, and it just came naturally. And for me, like when we play it live, it's just got that energy, the raspy vocals. It's such an AC/DC riff, AC/DC solos. It's for me, that's the music that I love, like that's my like heart. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I had a song, God, I wish I could have listened to that when I was 12 years old. But for me, Rat Races, that's the big song, the massive chorus. But Vampirus is always, whenever that comes around in the set, it knocks people out.
Yeah. Okay. So if you were to pick a couple of songs from your entire career, because you've got a few albums to choose from now.
No, I've only got 5.
Yeah, that's a few. That's more than some. That's more than probably good Metallica albums that are out there. But
I'm going to say no comment on that one. Do you know what? No, they're a band who you have to take each album at a time with them. And I'm actually quite a big fan of the Load and Reload albums. I think they're fantastic, but they really are quite a bold statement, and it must have been pretty bold for that band to put that out at that time.
Yeah. I mean, all right, let's change the question then. What about inspirations for you? Who made you the guitarist you are today?
So, I mean, I'm through and through. Like, obviously, I've got a Les Paul on, and if I'm deadly honest with you, I wish it was an SG, because for me, it's Angus Young. He's the man.
Right.
He was, the moment I saw him, I remember my dad bought me Live at Donington, and before I really knew anything about music, and I remember sticking it on the TV, and I just captured my imagination. The school uniform, the strutting up and down, the whole band. It was just straight rock and roll. No gimmicks, no fucking around. It was just, that was what it is.
Yeah.
And that, for me, that was what really got me into music. Later on, obviously, then I discovered all the earlier AC/DC albums, and like Power Age is my favorite album of all time.
Mm.
And that was what that era of AC/DC is like. That's my ball. And then from that, it just kind of stemmed into lots of different things. I think Deep Purple was one of the first gigs that I ever went to, and Deep Purple's always been a like real big band of mine.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, Zeppelin, mega band. I'd say I've also quite a large fan of like there's some, you know, really good new bands recently. Airborne's always great.
Mm.
Blackstone Cherry, those early albums, they really capture something cool. But for
Yeah.
me, like my love lays in like the 70s and those like kind of hard rock, real gritty bands. Rose Tattoos, another like absolute brilliant one, that kind of whole Aussie vibe. But
Yeah.
they're my kind of influences. And then I think as I've got older, like I was always very one dimensional in like I just like rock and roll and that's it. And through working, I mean, I've, you know, Lowell's managed me for 10 odd years now, and you know,
Yeah.
he's one of my best friends, and his musical horizon and is just incredible. He likes so many different artists, and like listening to lots of different music with him has really broadened my horizons, and kind of listen to, you know, funk, soul and disco. They're all such amazing genres, and when you learn how those musicians work together, I think
Mm.
that translates a lot into rock and roll. And it's kind of, you always think, oh, it's just, you know, it's big drums and that's it. It's not. It's all about the groove and how all the instruments work together, and that's really kind of broadened like a whole other spectrum of music that I would probably wouldn't look at me and say, oh, you know, I'd like that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, for me, it's always AC/DC though the whole way. But I'm too tall to wear an SG, unfortunately. It just doesn't look right on me. So I took the Jimmy Page and got a Les Paul instead.
Brilliant. Right, I won't take up any more of your time, Tag. Thank you very much, and I'll see you on the road very, very soon.
You certainly will. I hope to see you at a show in April.
Oh, you will.
All right,
Once,
buddy.
once seen, never forgotten. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. No, I know what you look like now, mate. So I'll be seeing you down the front. All right,
Okay.
buddy. Have a
All right.
fantastic day.
Take care.
See you later.